The 2024 election's coming up, and it's going to be Trump-Biden, of course, as we all know. That's what we all thought it was probably going to be. And I saw this going around on social media. And I wanted to talk about this because one of the things I tried to do, and I was unsuccessful, is to find out where this picture was taken. I don't know where it was taken. I do know if you zoom in right here, down at the bottom left, it looks like US 62 is what's mentioned on the sign there. It's very, very pixelated, but it looks like US 62. So I don't know what state that is. US 62 goes through a bunch of different states. Could be Texas. It could be Arkansas, who knows? But you can see the prices here. March 25th, 2020. Remember this in November. They're talking about the election. And, you know, $1.19 for unleaded would be an amazing price, right? And so my goal with this, and I want to show you one other meme that I saw with this. See this right here? Someone posted this, or a lot of people posted this back in 2022. Gas prices on March 30th, 2020 is what it says. Was it the 25th or 30th? You know, it's not, it's the same, basically the same thing. Late March 2020. Remember who was president? And it says, fed up with the lies, red wave at the voting booth, November 8, 2022 is what it says at the very bottom. And we all know that there was not a red wave in 2022. So this was unsuccessful. However, it says $1.19 for unleaded. And that might make people think that, okay, whenever Donald Trump was president, he was able to get gas prices down to $1.19 nationally. And there's a lot about this that is just simply misleading and not true. I'm going to show you a few different things. I'm going to talk about gas prices, including what's happening with Biden, with gas prices on his watch going up. And I want to show you first the gas prices back in 2008. This is the U.S. Energy Information Administration website, their independent statistics and analysis. And you can see here, it's probably really small on your screen, but it goes from like the early 90s through 2024, gas prices going up. So if we zoom in here on the right side, you can kind of see like 2005 through right now, how gas prices have gone up and down. And there's the first big drop right here. Let me see right here in 2008. See, it went pretty high in July 2008 right here to about $4.11, $4.12 per gallon. And this is at the very end of George W. Bush's second term because Obama took office in January 2009. And as you go down here, you can see the drop happened in what appears to be, let me stop right here, the end of December is whenever the drop went all the way down and kind of stopped. And December 2008, what was happening December 2008? I can show you. This is from Fortune, Fortune magazine. It says the spike in oil prices in July 2008 came at the tail end of a decade-long energy crisis, surging demand from developing economies, stagnant production, financial speculation, and tension in the Middle East caused oil and gas prices to steadily climb over the 2000s. Gas prices quickly crashed, however, with the onset of the global financial crisis, of course, in 2008, as we all know, hitting a low of $1.67 per gallon in the last week of December 2008, or about $2.18 at today's prices. And so that's talking about what happened in 2008. And the reason that it dropped so much right here where my mouse cursor is, down here at the end of 2008. And then when Obama took office, we finally, after the financial crisis, started recovering, probably would have recovered, it's arguable, debatable, no matter who maybe was elected that year, things would have slowly gotten better because they'd gotten so much worse because of the financial crisis. And the gas prices started going back up to what you might think of as a more normal level, not so cheap as it was. And then, as you can see, you go along through 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. And here in 2016, at the very end of Obama's second term, as I approach the Trump and Biden years, at the end of Obama's second term, gas prices appear to have fallen between, 2014 and early 2016. And so like January, February, March 2016, gas prices appear to have gone all the way down to about $1.87, something like that. Really, really low, right? And that is a pretty low amount here. Almost went as low as it did in 2008. $1.87, 2016. What was happening in 2016? Let's take a look. Here on USA Today, from January 10, 2016, gas prices could drop toward $1 a gallon. In some gas stations around the country, the price of a gallon of regular gas has dropped below $1.42. AAA and Gas Buddy, two organizations that follow gas prices, say that gas prices below $2 will not be unusual in most of the U.S. says that refinery capacity is staying strong, blah, blah, blah. Gasoline prices are driven mostly by 4 factors: oil prices, proximity to refineries, refinery capacity, and state taxes and levies. Nowhere in there did it say that, Bush or Obama or some president was causing gas prices to do something. And so that is what was going on in 2016. Let me take a look here one more time. It fell right here, right there, to about $1.87. And you can't see the thing because I'm covering it up. $1.87 right there. And so then you move on to Trump assuming office in January 2017. And you can see right here, he assumed office, I think, the end of January 2017. And gas prices, after that stayed about the same. They started going up a little bit. They went up, all the way to $2.95, maybe? No, $3.04. And this is a national average. And so if you continue on here, now we get into the Trump years. Gas went down at the end of 2018, beginning 2019. And then gas prices went up again, but they started coming back down. And as we go into 2020, the last month, or the last week rather, of 2020, 2019, December 30th, 2019, we were at $2.66 a gallon, according to this. And this is all grades, all formulations, including regular, the mid-grade, and premium. And then what happened at the beginning of 2020, we all know: the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic, and, 2 weeks to slow the spread, and everybody stayed home for those 2 weeks, and not a lot of driving happened, and it was a very strange time, all that sort of thing. It was a moment unlike any of us had ever experienced, no matter your thoughts, feelings, opinions about the whole thing and everything that happened with all that and politics and all that. So people weren't driving. We remember that, especially if you live in a big city. It was very ghost towny. And so if you look here, let me zoom in a little more. You can see gas prices were about $2.51 at the beginning of March 2020. And we know that March 11, 12, 13, somewhere in mid-March is when, things start going crazy, right? And so that's when you see this drop. I'm just going to zoom in a little more right here. This drop right here went all the way down. And why did it drop like that? People weren't driving, like I just said. And I will show you sources about that and a little bit more information. So, if you think about it, by the way, this happened too. This is a tweet that Trump put out on April 2nd, 2020. Just spoke to my friend and, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who spoke with President Putin of Russia. And I expect and hope they will be cutting back approximately 10 million barrels and maybe substantially more, which, if it happens, will be great for the oil and gas industry. And so cutting back production would then drive up prices. And why would he be doing that? Let's go and take a look at USA Today just to see what they had to say. President Donald Trump's decision to negotiate with oil-producing nations to cut production by nearly 10 million barrels a day is not only unprecedented, but is also the opposite of what prior presidents have done. For decades, presidents have preached the virtues of cheap gas. When prices have peaked, they've accused big oil of price gouging and leaned on Saudi Arabia and others to increase production. And so no matter what your thoughts about Trump might be, we can all agree that he did put out this tweet. This is a real tweet on his real Donald Trump Twitter account, which he doesn't use that much anymore. The whole thing happened and all that. So why is Trump trying to push prices up now? A partial answer can be found in the fact that the U.S. oil industry has grown considerably in the past decade thanks to fracking and other drilling advances. It now employs more than 10 million people and has pushed the nation close to energy independence. When millions of Americans have already filed for unemployment because of the new coronavirus, why not try to keep oil industry workers in their jobs? So this is an opinion article, but they are talking about how he is trying to potentially push up prices to help the economy, which, whatever that may be. Then we get to Biden. And so prices after the coronavirus year, that initial year, started going back up. And as we all know, they went up and they went up and they went up and they went up all the way to about June, July of 2022. That's whenever the prices peaked. In some places, the national average was close to or above $5 right here. Yeah, above $5, $5.01, something like that. And so pretty high, right? And so you might be wondering, okay, well, what was Biden doing? Was he trying to bring the prices back down? Were prices going up because of Biden? Let's take a little bit of a look at that. You can see after that mid area of 2022, prices came way back down here, and they kind of went back up a little bit, and then they came back down, and now they're kind of going back up slightly, and they're probably going to come back down again. They're trying to apparently normalize after coronavirus, and it takes a long time, apparently, according to this. So we go take a look at a little bit of data here. This is from, you know, Gas Buddy. I don't know if you know Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy is a great website that has a lot of information about gas prices and has an expert that gives quotes about gas prices, trends, that sort of thing, a nonpartisan person who is just trying to get raw data out there. And it says the primary reason for rising gas prices over the past years is from the New York Times. The primary reason for rising gas prices over the past year is the coronavirus pandemic and its disruptions to global supply and demand. And here's the Gas Buddy guy. COVID changed the game, not President Biden, said Patrick DeHaan, the head of petroleum analysis for Gas Buddy, which tracks gasoline prices. U.S. oil production fell in the last 8 months of President Trump's tenure. Is that his fault? No. The pandemic brought us to our knees, he added. In the early months of 2020, when the virus took hold, demand for oil dried up because people were staying home, 2 weeks to slow the spread. We all remember this. Let's not deny it. And prices plummeted. As pandemic restrictions loosened worldwide and economies recovered, demand outpaced supply. That was mostly attributable to the decision by OPEC Plus, an alliance of oil-producing countries that controls about half the world's supply, to limit increases in production, according to the U.S. EIA, which we just looked at their stats. Domestic production also remains below pre-pandemic levels as capital spending declined. This is from 2022, this reporting. And so the Gas Buddy quote was from then as well. And now we are about 2 years after this article came out. We can look at AAA, by the way, which might give you a little bit more information based upon what happened in 2020. It says here that the national average increased by a penny. This is late April 2020 to $1.77 per gallon. And so here it says $1.77. That's the national average. And when we go back to that meme, you know, it said, what, $1.19 or something like that. That's not the national average. That was maybe the average in a small town in Arkansas or Oklahoma or Texas or something like that, which does not reflect the national average. We can all agree that looking and taking a photo of one gas station sign out of tens of thousands of gas stations in the entire country is not representative of the whole country. So when people take a picture of one gas prices sign that has really high gas prices, that is just that one gas station. But people sometimes see that and they, for whatever reason, start commenting on social media as if it's the national average. And these are educated people who do that, which is really kind of frustrating and crazy, but it is what it is. So you go back here. What was the lowest number? Let's look at the actual data here, the raw numbers. Let's go to 2020 and let's go, okay, March right here. So we were at 251 in March, and then the next week 247, and then 234, and then 222. And then in April, we got all the way down to, it shows 187 at the end of April. And then it goes back up from there. So they're saying 187. And then AAA is saying, you know, we were about 176 and went up to 177 right here. So it wasn't 119, but it was pretty low. We can all agree on that. But I hope that my video here, if you're still watching this long video, has shown you that there are a lot of different factors to take into consideration when looking at gas prices. It's a very politicized thing. People want the candidate they're going to be voting for to be proven correct. And they're going to say, I don't trust that source you showed. I don't trust this. I don't trust the fake news media. I don't trust this. I think that Biden has done good. I think that Biden has not done good. I think that Trump has done good. I don't think Trump has done good. I mean, people want to be validated about their political choices. But when you look at data, you just look at data. You're looking at sources. You're looking at information so that you can make a decision based upon the facts, not based upon the childish notion in your brain that you have to be correct. And if you're not correct, well, then whoever is telling you that must be wrong and you are not liking the data they gave you. In order to be an adult in today's society who is a helpful, contributing member of society, you have to be someone who will look at information, facts, sources, data, credible information and say, you know what, this is credible because I'm looking not only at this specific nonpartisan person from Gas Buddy, I'm looking at this EIA government website that's published numbers of gas prices from around the country for 30, 40 years on their website, maybe longer elsewhere, and numerous reports from other websites that aren't, you know, just the mainstream media or fake news media, or what some people like to call, you know, whatever you want to call them. They're reporting facts about this. They're not telling you information that is not true. They have numbers. They've looked at gas prices and they've come to conclusions based upon various factors. You know, presidents control some stuff, but from what I've been able to gather, presidents don't really always have their finger on the button to control gas prices. You know, there could be external extenuating circumstances, not external, but extenuating circumstances where certain world events are causing issues and maybe a president was for or against that. But let's stick to the facts and let's look at this from the perspective of, I went back to Bush and showed you Obama, then showed you Trump, and now I got to Biden. And I hope this is helpful to you. So comment down below. Who are you going to vote for in 2024? Who are you going to vote for? Tell me in the comments down below. Like this video, comment. I'm not giving you my opinion of any candidate in this video. So if you are currently upset at me and you're going to leave me a comment that you're upset that you think I said something bad about the person that you might be favoring in the election, go back and watch the video. I didn't say anything bad about anybody. I'm just giving you the facts based upon credible information that if you were in college and you were writing a term paper, you would trust this information, right? And then, you know, if you're someone who out there who says they're not going to trust this information, but you won't say why, and you won't show sources, and you won't show me any links as to why, then you might have to come to the conclusion that maybe you don't know why. So, you know, I'm not talking to everybody when I say all that. There's probably a minority of people out there who don't like the fact that I didn't tell them that their one candidate, whoever that is that I mentioned, did a great job. I'm just giving you facts, numbers, you know, statistics about what I saw. So I am thankful that you watched to this point. This video went way longer than I thought. But when you look back at that meme about March 25th, 2020 or March 30th, 2020, it shows the Casey's General Store sign, $1.19. Gas was probably $1.19 at that one gas station, but that was not the national average. And no matter who gets voted in November, I really don't see them as being someone who can make a big impact on gas prices. And so that's kind of the conclusion that I've drawn based upon everything that I just looked at. I'll include sources down in the description, and thank you so much for watching.